My name is Johnny. I'm here with the legend himself, Sergey Brown, the founder of the Clear Skies movement. Thank you for joining me today, Sergey. How you doing?
I'm doing really, really good. And how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and man, I'm just stoked about all the work you've been doing, getting the word out about how we need to make our skies blue again and
We do.
stand up against all this toxicity we're seeing. What got you into this movement? When did you learn about kind of the geoengineering going on?
Uh, in 1997, I used to work nights, and I'd get home and I'd listen to a radio show called Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. And he had all kinds of fantastic stuff on, and it was just something fantastic to listen to wind down. Well, I heard a gentleman early on named Dane Wingington, who now is kind of the OG of geoengineering, talking about this. Well, that was about 20 years ago now, and 25, 26, 27, 28 years ago. And it has been something that really I have talked about ever since, looked into, started talking to people that understood. But it was kind of, kind of on the back burner because life has a tendency to get in the way of everything. And I keep myself busy with any number of things. About 4.5 months ago, I got tired of seeing that. And I have a daughter, and she has given me the most amazing grandson. And I thought, you know what? If I see, if I can see this out my window and I can see it happening every day, and people are having breathing problems, and we're seeing cancers and brain disease and skin disorders at an all time high rate, if I don't do something about it, then I can't expect anybody else to. So I got on X, opened up an X account, and said, all right, today is the day I'm doing stuff. And I started calling senators and governors and mayors and congresspeople and activists, and just ran into some phenomenal people online and built the movement from that. And we went from, Christy and I to like I say, we've got about 80,000 people we talk to on almost a daily basis now. We just connected with a number of groups that have 8,000 here, 4,000 there, a million. Stand for Health Freedom, Global Wellness Forum. It has snowballed. And the thing is, these are true believers. These are people that completely, they're not crazy like you would think on a conspiracy theory. Well informed. I'm shocked at how many people have done water and soil testing and had it sent to either universities or very reputable labs. Get get it back, and there is strontium and aluminum and barium and cadmium and all the stuff that you would expect in fly ash is now in the soil and water, and that kind of lit the fire under me.
Is there any other reason that we should be seeing aluminum and barium in our soil, in our rain like this?
No, there's not. As a matter of fact, it has to be mined, and then in order to be spread across the planet, it is. But let's just take America, right? In order for it to be spread across America, the only other thing that would give you even close to this, and I'm not including barium and cadmium in this. Barium and cadmium are mined in a very different way. But if a volcano erupts, you have very much the same type of extremely toxic ash that is in fly ash. The problem is that you have normally the wind will carry the drop of the ash in a volcano in a particular direction, and then we have years of sediment and stuff that builds up over that, and so it shouldn't be on the topsoil, and it should not be in the water unless we're having volcanoes erupt every single day, pumping it into every bit of America, and we simply don't. What we do have is jet trails in the sky that have the fly ash added to the fuel. And then they can fly through supersaturated regions, which is where Doppler comes in, and it dries out an area and it sends all of that moisture up into those regions. And then you can hit that with any kind of radar you want, You can spread those things out. That's all those ripples in the sky. You never used to see that. So, yeah, there's really no other reason why you would have so much of this throughout the country.
We were talking about this fly ash is super toxic, and it's something from industry that they gotta pay big money to get rid of. What does it come from? What is a fly ash a byproduct of?
So you can get fly ash in just about every industry, but let's just take the coal industry for instance. You burn the coal goes up the chutes, and they have water filters that spray across that, and then you've got smokestacks that are 15, 20, 30 feet wide in diameter, and that's a lot of smoke and that's a lot of ash, and so they spray across, and then that floats down the sides of these smokestacks into a collection area that's moved out into a pond, and they create millions of tons of this every year just in the coal industry. What you have to do then is you really have to take that fly ash and dig extremely deep, bury it in a way that it doesn't leach into the groundwater and everything, and it used to become very expensive. Now they put it in holding ponds. They don't have to worry about burying it, because once it's micronized, at that point it's smoke that is sprayed out. They don't have to do anything else. It's highly flammable, extraordinarily toxic. Then they can add that to the already combustible jet fuel. Bang, it comes out, and then you can affect that in any way. I don't know if you've ever seen, how they'll have a hose, and somebody will hook up something that delivers a sound frequency, and all of a sudden you see the water going like that out of the hose. Have you ever seen that?
Of course, sure.
Well, so what we have is we've got an ocean, a veritable ocean above us, and especially when clouds come in. So you start hitting that with frequency, and that's where you get all of those ripple waves in the sky. You're dropping a pebble of very powerful frequency into the sky. You direct that correctly, and you can get exactly what happened last week. It's 102 degrees in Boise today. Last week, we were at 43 degrees. A 60-some degree jump, or a 60-degree jump, that just doesn't happen. It snowed just a little above us. We had almost 2 feet of snow at the exact same time, and this has never happened in the history of record keeping in America, in North America, anywhere. We've never had a snowstorm in one side of the country and then a heat wave, 100-plus degree heat wave in the South, in Texas in particular. That happened. And it happened because the S shape of the jet stream was pulled down so much. So what pulls that down? Well, you can raise and lower the ionosphere. You can create a vacuum, or you can create a bubble, however you want to do it. So you draw down one and you push up the other, and all of a sudden you have extremely powerful weather patterns. And that exact day, we had 6 to 8 people die in Lake Tahoe. 8-foot waves in Lake Tahoe in June, in late June. We had a tornado in North Dakota. This is the kind of stuff that you don't happen. That tornado killed 3 people. We had flooding, huge flooding in El Paso, Texas. And that flood, first of all, when you have 100-degree heat for a week, it's going to dry the soil out. There's no place for the water to go. Then you move storms in, then it floods. That flood woke up a massive, and I mean massive, underground termite population that popped up in El Paso, and now it's attacking everybody's homes, all the wood and everything around it. That's the kind of devastation that you have plausible deniability. It's just the weather.
8-foot waves in Lake Tahoe. Man,
crazy.
That's a special place. That'd be fun to go surfing there, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow, unbelievable. So what can we do about this? You're so great about calls to action. We're getting a lot of traction, a lot of different bills. We're getting some wins in different states. Florida, we've got them to ban it a little bit.
SB 56.
I hear that, what these state bills that we're getting though, they only kind of go so high. There's only so much altitude that's at the state level that they're in charge of. Is this an issue, and how do we overcome that?
For some people, it can be an issue. Here's the issue that people talk about, that the state bills, you can go up to 1,500 feet, maybe even 2,000 feet in some states. But the FAA controls everything above that. And so the states, what they do is they give away their state's right. They give away their power and bend to the federal government. The federal government has the right to use that airspace. And they have U.S. Code 50, Section 1520A, that allows protection if something happens. And they also have the PrEP Act, which is being used, for the COVID vaccine, for all the dangerous stuff, right? They get covered under these acts, and you can't hold anybody accountable. Here's the issue that we're looking at. You have the right, the absolute right, for the FAA to fly through and control that airspace. There's nothing in any of that that says that they can purposely poison a population. And that is exactly what they're doing. And there's a case to be made for arresting pilots using civil forfeiture. We know we can go after the NGOs. That's going to be kind of the low-hanging fruit. But we can also attack NOAA. We can go after NASA. The DARPA, is very insulated, but we have some good case. You're not allowed to kill your population. Nothing in the Constitution allows for that. You're supposed to protect them, yes. Kill them, that's bad.
That's bad, right? And these toxins are coming down in the rain. We talked about the soil a little bit, right? Farmers all over are reporting that crops are failing, and then what we're seeing is that the GMO seeds that they're more resilient. So again, is this dialectic of provide the answer to this problem that they're starting, and again, another consolidation of power. What are we hearing about that?
What we're hearing is that the GMO seeds can grow in very toxic soil. The problem that we have is that many of these GMO seeds no longer draw the adequate nutrition to make that plant life nutritious. And so now we're eating stuff that doesn't give us nutrition. Our body needs nutrition. So we're seeing people age literally faster. Skin is getting thinner. And here's the one thing about skin. Once your skin starts to thin, you're now looking at a decade or two left on your life. Well, that's fine if you're in your 60s. But if you're in your 30s and your skin starts thinning, is that a depopulation approach? And also, when you have companies like Monsanto that receives an inordinate amount of government bailout money and help and subsidized, when their seeds don't germinate into other seeds, and they also get to sue the organic farmer if they can prove that maybe some of the pollen from the organic or from the GMO seeds blew over, and now you have that introduced into your field, they can sue. Monsanto has sued, and they have destroyed families that have had farms in their families for 120 years or more. And we're seeing this time and time again. It's one of the reasons that we're seeing small farms and small ranches being attacked, but small farms, since we're talking about plant life, farming, and the soil, the microbiome is dead, between 6 and 12 feet from the top down to about 6 to 12 feet. There's no microbes, no microbial life. You want to start really getting worried. We have lost in the last 20 years 1/3 of our bird population, and then the University of Washington's bee study program just released a very, very frightening report saying that we're due to lose. We've been losing bees like crazy, but this may be the worst year yet. We may lose another 60% of the worldwide bee population. I don't know if you know what that means, but about 30% of all pollination, because butterflies pollinate, there's other insects that pollinate, but bees do the vast majority of pollinating. If you lose 2 to 5% of your crops because they're not pollinated, you're looking at famine. If you lose 10% of the world's crop, all of a sudden you're looking at mass starvation. If you lose 30% of the world's crops, corn, rice, soybeans, bananas, whatever, if you lose 30% of all that, can you imagine the amount of starvation that is going to go on? And now you've poisoned the land. You can't grow anything in aluminum. You can't grow anything in strontium. You can't grow anything in berries. You're essentially putting an acid bath into the soil. And it's not just when it rains. I mean, it's falling down on us every day. You can go out and scrape with a credit card on your car and then put a magnet to that, and you can attract, those particles. That's the issue right there, is we're not just talking about fly ash. We're not just talking about NextRad or HARP. We're not talking about the Ice Neutrino project that, Project Ice Cube, the Raytheon weapon that probably is the most powerful by far weapon in the world. Dr. Herndon is worried that it can crack the earth open if it's used wrong. We're talking about power that you wouldn't even think was possible in a science fiction movie we've got now. So yeah, you put all that together, and that's why we're fighting. That's because there's no future for anybody unless we do fight.
I tell you what, yeah, we've seen these studies again and again showing all this aluminum. This form of aluminum. Aluminum is super abundant on the earth, but not this sort of aluminum we're finding, this free form, which is a super powerful neurotoxin. And of course, we see, what's associated with it: dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of these conditions going parabolic. And yeah, you're right. This is, gosh, what's more important than our health? I don't know how we're letting this happen to us. So
it amazes me, and what amazes me is that we're now seeing people younger and younger. It started to creep down into the, it used to be called senility. You get late 70s, early 80s, 90s, your brain starts to go, okay, it might be a buildup of toxic heavy metals through your life. Did you use, aluminum-based underarm deodorant or a particular type of toothpaste all your life, and it got to your brain. Okay, we see that. What we're seeing now is that it started to creep down in the 60s, and then the 50-year-olds started getting Parkinson's and dementia and Alzheimer's. And now we're seeing it in the 40s and 30s. A 30-year-old should never have a brain disorder unless it's they won the unfortunate lottery, and they're the one in 20 billion or 20 million people that get a particular type of rare disease. That's normally how it goes. That's not how it is anymore. We're seeing more and more people show up with these very rare cancers, these very rare brain disorders, these very rare nervous system disorders. It really, people aren't even able to concentrate sometimes. And, we know from the Havana syndrome that the United States government has the ability to affect people's brains. They're using that same technology down in Antarctica in Operation Ice Cube. But rather than targeting one person, Operation Ice Cube can literally fry the brains. Let's say they wanted to take out Bulgaria. Tune it over to Bulgaria, fry everybody's brains. That's the type of power. And I know it sounds crazy. Trust me, I know I should be wearing that big, gigantic tinfoil hat. But unfortunately, I just did a 5-part series based on, I've talked to Eric Hecker, right, for the whistleblower from Raytheon. This is what they are doing, and it is reverse technology, from do 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 do. And I know nobody likes to talk about that because we've been sold this bill of goods forever that we are the only life in the vastly expanding universe. But there's probably a few more life forms than people like to admit.
Yeah, for those aren't familiar, is it Eric Decker? Yeah, he's been coming out
Hacker, yeah.
blowing the whistle about some wild technology going on in Antarctica that our government's putting there, and this is harming us all over. Very very toxic for a lot of the contractors that are working on it, and seems to just be a giant weapon. Is that how you describe it?
Oh, massive. Yes, absolutely. Do you remember the anomalies that were coming out online? I know that Into Thin Air and Dutch Sense, had talked about them and showed pictures, and it was on Vintusky and Windy. You could follow that, and it would start in this little island just off the coast of Antarctica, kind of right between South America and Africa. Down below that, though. And it came out as an anomaly one day, and it spread to 38 and a half feet high, and then it would spread out for thousands of miles, and then up for many thousands of miles up into the Atlantic. And so after about the second or third time, the U.S. government and Vintusky said, oh, it's just an anomaly. But it was being picked up on other websites, other weather websites as well. What happened was these websites, in conjunction with the U.S. government, decided to retool the algorithm so it no longer showed what was going on. During that time, though, we had the Christchurch, a very powerful earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand, just out of the blue. Exactly what Eric Hecker talks about. Was that the firing of this extraordinarily powerful weapon? And if so, was it on 1? Was it on 10? Or does it go up to 1,000? All of a sudden, we have people that are very worried about this.
What can we do about it, Sergey? How do we stand up to sanity, huh?
The very first thing we have to do is start taking back our government. There is, as we have found out in this last election, the deep state is very well funded and extraordinarily powerful. And we need to replace those people with Americans. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republic. I don't care if you're gay or straight or bi or trans. I don't care if you're Hindi or if you're Christian or if you're agnostic or if you're Muslim. I don't care if your hair is on fire and you love running around naked. If you believe in freedom and America, then you need to work with us and work with everybody, not just us. Hell, I don't care who you work with. Work with the groups that are trying to get common sense back in America, because the world goes the way America goes. And that is the absolute truth. So what we need to do is start putting great people in very powerful positions. And once somebody gets in there, the public has got to hold them accountable. If you don't hold them accountable, what's going to happen is what we've seen happen. You're going to get some goof-filled sock puppet like Joe Biden stuffed into office. His brain is no longer there. We just heard the FBI say that yes, there was a body double. Donald Trump put that out on his Truth Social account also. So now they have a body double. Joe Biden can't work. And the reason for that is freedom is not free. People forgot that they have to wake up every day and fight for that very freedom. And I don't mean by picking up, guns or driving a tank around. What I mean is you have to be involved in the legislative process. The peaceful transfer of power is what we need. The problem is the power, we have the peaceful part, people go and vote and everything. The power is never transferred. The power has always stayed with the deep state. We need to rectify that. And we're doing some of it right now under the Trump administration, but it's not up to Donald Trump. Donald Trump can only do so much. We, the people, the 335 million of us, we're the ones that need to back President Trump or whoever you think is going to do the job, right? I'm not saying, vote for one guy or the other. What I'm saying is put people in that want to make this change, because whoever holds the keys to the weather and the Antarctic ice neutrino project down there, Operation Ice Cube, whoever holds the keys to that, that's a very, very dangerous entity, extraordinarily dangerous. Mark my words, we're going to see a problem with it probably within the next 5 or 10 years if we don't deal with it now. It has to be taken under control. The U.S. government. And we have to have the people in the Pentagon, in the FBI, in the CIA, in DARPA, in NOAA, in NASA that we trust to make the good decisions. Because right now they're attacking Americans. And if you think that filling the sky with toxins and starving us, that's the long game. But if they want to do the short game, all they have to do is send all their people down to their beautiful, gorgeous, $500 billion underground complexes, and then light up America, and then start sending the bulldozers in to clean up the bodies. I mean, that is the unfortunate truth. The exciting thing about this is that, as we were talking earlier, we at the Clear Skies Movement this last week for the Big Beautiful Bill, we put thousands of calls and emails in, and we got the AI, with the weather, AI being run by the weather, and the funding for that stripped out of the One Big Beautiful Bill. And that is a huge win. There's other people that called, but I tell you, we put thousands of phone calls and emails into the United States Congress and told them to stop. We called all of our contacts, all the senators we know, all the representatives we know, all the political activists. We got on the horn, started burning things up, and put heat on them. That's what we can do. It's really that easy. And if people don't know how to do it, just get a hold of me, and all of a sudden I will, I've got stuff on my Substack at Sergey, SERGE Goliath on Substack, and I'm at Sergey L. Brown, SERGE L. Brown on X. And that is, that's a great way to start. And then you can join our communities. And there's a lot of hope. I mean, there's a lot of hope and passion. There's a lot of fantastic people. It's like your neighbors, your favorite neighbors now are just hanging out in this group because they care. They want their little gardens to grow, and I don't blame them. Eat the food you grow. Eat stuff within 100 miles.
Sergey versus Goliath. Yeah, we're up against some bad guys. I really love that you're going live on X Monday through Friday every night. Is that right?
And that's right, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, because I am in Boise, Idaho. Have you ever been to Boise?
I did. I was there once. That's Yellowstone's right next to that, right?
Yeah, it's just right up the way. Right next to it in Northwest terms. If you're talking about the tiny little states over the East Coast, then it's like 4 states away.
And you guys got some great fly fishing, is that right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Great fly fishing. A friend of mine just went out fishing over on the Snake River, and in one day they pulled in 7 of these sturgeon. I don't know if you know what a sturgeon looks like, but it literally looks like a swimming dinosaur. And you don't keep them, you catch and release. But they range from about 7 to 12 feet long, the ones they caught. And it's a hell of a fight. It takes quite a while to reel those things in. He absolutely loved it. But yeah, all kinds of great fishing here.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we got to make our rivers safe again. Kennedy's been talking about this, going back 25 years. He was talking about how, in all of our states, the fish isn't safe to eat anymore. So much mercury coming from the pollution, and things are just getting more and more concerning. So,
just yesterday on my show, people were chiming in the chat, and the chat just goes crazy on that show. And people were chiming in saying that fish are just turning up dead now in the lakes and rivers across America. And when the nice thing about fishermen and hunters, outdoors people, is they keep an eye on that that environment. And when they start noticing stuff like this and it concerns them, we all should be concerned. You can't have fish just dying. That means that the ecosystem is in trouble. And at what point do we have a tipping point that Mother Earth just says, you know what, I'm going to take a break for a while. No oxygen for anybody. We're going to kind of start over and get the system working again.
I tell you, I like to I go by Johnny Paradise. I tell people we should plant paradise everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the simple solutions, get back to what's natural. All of this kind of nonsense we're doing of all these chemicals, all this toxicity, it's no good for us. And and the more natural, the better. Don't you think?
I absolutely agree. I am from the school of buy everything within 100 miles of you, right? Support your local farmers. Go to your farmers markets, buy their stuff, give them a reason to plant another acre. Go to your local ranchers, buy their meat, buy their cows, buy their chickens, buy their pigs, because I guarantee you're not going to get much more nutrition. And nutrition is the key when we want to eat. Nutrition is what grows your brain. Nutrition gives you everything that you need. So if you're getting great eggs, if you're getting good cheese, find somebody that makes cheese. If you like cheese, find somebody that makes cheese, in your general area. Buy as close to natural as you can, and then start planting stuff. We have plants in our house, right? Grow a little life around you, and you'll start understanding the importance of keeping that protected, because without it, it's going to be a little dicey.
I tell you, not only is this a good way to make safer food that's not grown with so many chemicals, but this gives us freedom in our local communities and independence from this globalist system that's so increasingly tyrannical and fragile. You talk about having this local resilience. So yeah, let's get back to that.
It is so vitally important. And the great thing about it is that there are some amazing people that do grow food. You start connecting with them, you're in a very special group. And one thing that I remember as a child, right? I was born in the early 60s. Growing up, I grew up in small towns where we relied on the family next door or down the street, right? We were a community. Sure, there were 300, 400, 500. Some of the communities we lived in, there were 28 people up in Alaska, Moose Pass. But we relied on each other for protection, for support, for help. I think we need to get back to that. And I think that really lends itself, Johnny, to your approach of live natural, be natural, kind of add to the beauty of life rather than buying something that comes from 2,000 miles away. Let's start building that community again, get to know your neighbors, and start talking about things also. Put some plants in your house.
I tell you, it feels good. A little fresh air, exercise, sunshine. Why not? What else?
There you go.
Favorite plants and animals, making it happen.
Yeah.
Sergey, thank you so much for everything you're doing and coming on today and sharing with us. And I look forward to tuning into your live streams there. And yeah, let's looking forward to some more blue skies for all of us.
We can only hope so. And so am I, really. We're gonna see down in Florida. They've got a 10-day grace period. We'll see on the 10th. See how things go. Johnny, thank you very much for having me on your show. And I look forward to coming back sometime.
All right. Sounds great. Mahalo, Sergey.
You have a great day.